So we'll start off with our mixing palette and palette of paints and the roller here where we're going to mix the paints in, and there's a picture we're going to do, and we've got two paintings set up today. I'll have a go at this now. The colour I want to start with will be these purple areas here. So what we're going to do first is, it's best just to wet your roller a bit first, just damp it a bit first. Otherwise you're starting off with a very dry roller. Too wet and it dribbles everywhere, yeah. But too dry and it's a job just to get it going, okay? Mm-hmm. Then we'll mix up this, we'll try this purple colour first, so we'll take a little bit of mauve, a bit of water, just to get it going, a little touch of white into that, don't want it too dark, and you see it's fairly warm, that purple, it's not completely purple, a little tiny touch of yellow ochre into it. And that just gives us that slightly darker, you can see that colour coming, but I want the slightly darker purple, so I'm going to put a bit more purple back. Right, a little bit of purple, a little bit of the blue, just to make it slightly bluer. There we are, now that's a lovely colour, look. Yeah?
It is, yeah.
So a bit more water, we don't want it too wet. The trouble is that when I first use it, I'm going to use most of it up, which means you've got to start mixing more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
it's easier to mix. Right, so there we are, we've got the roller going, which a single would paint for a wall like that. Now we're going to go into this area here, so it's this one here, and I'm going to just coat that completely at the moment. Don't let me get the odd glitch and things. Right away, you can see the drawing just underneath, look, so it's slightly thinner. We're going to build these coats up. Now I'm going to go right through here, right through to the figure up here, and you've got to get used to being able to use the edge of the roller to come around things. So we've got to start now getting used to where that edge of the roller comes. So I've gone right over that whole area of that. Now there's some purple down this area as well, so I'm going to start putting that in just around the foot. Leave that foot. Maybe I want a bit of purple into the foot there, look, because the foot's just showing some through here. Mm-hmm. So that purple comes right down through, coming underneath here a bit, it's flaking through there, right through here, just leaving them nice and loose. There's some more of that purple coming on around these chairs down here. Wherever you see it, when it's like when it's on your brush, when you've got a colour on your brush, and you're using it, put it in wherever it is at that time, rather than wash your brush off and then come back to it again later and mess about like that. So that purple comes right through into here. So you start mixing up your paint now. You get some on your roller, that's it.
White and ochre.
Little white first, that's right. Get it a little bit too light, that's right, a little bit more purple in there. That's a little touch of the blue as well. So a touch of blue, that's what I'll start to put that in next. Now a little tiny touch of the yellow ochre, just to bring it back a bit. Only tiny touches, that's right. Ooh. Maybe a bit much, yeah. So now we're going to put a bit more purple and a bit more blue in. We're going to use it anyway. Yeah, a little. That's about right now. That's okay. Right, where you go.
It soaks up the paint.
Yeah, it does. This is it. So the first one especially. And what we tend to do is we don't wash the rollers very seldom.
Right.
We tend to try and mix more colour going along, so it's always some paint on the roller.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise you tend to have to, you find them missing masses of paint and it gets all wet and horrible. You've really got to push quite hard at first, go over and over again, and quite quickly, that's it, nice fast strokes. That's it, really go quite fast. And directional strokes are fun too, so we can go different directions on it to get a feeling of texture and a feeling of movement. So the same areas I've done, right the way up and through now. I'm going to cut myself in now, put on my arm already.
So the edge.
So that's that, and over here a bit too, I think, a bit of purpley pink, some down there.
How do you do the edge? Keep that there? The edge.
That's right, just go up to it. And don't go if you go over slightly, it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
In fact, even his trousers have a bit of this, I'm going to go ahead with those trousers too.
Are you using my paint now?
Yeah, because yours is a bit darker than mine, so I can use this to advantage. And then you'll be lost.
Yes, exactly.
A little bit under his chin here. So wherever that colour is, look, I'm starting to work it up. using just the edge of the roller. You can even drag the roller like that, look. So I can drag it slightly down the neck like that. So you can roll it across, but you can also drag it slightly if you want like that. So wherever we see this purple coming. Now if I wanted a thinner edge, then I've got to be able to, let's see, where is that? That's the sinus here. That's the light coming up there, so that bit is this dark bit. I'd have to use that edge like that.
All right.
Paint it more thinly.
I have to try that because
you've got to get into the control of the roller so that we actually blend over. It's quite nice having underpainting, so we are underpainting. We're going to bring colours over this.
Oops,
okay. Now we're going to go on now. We've got to think about this lighter blue colour down here. It's lighter blue grey. So I'll take some more white. We're not bothering cleaning the rollers at all. We'll add a little bit of cerulean blue into that. And we get a much lighter blue-grey colour, which isn't far off that colour there, look. Maybe a tad more pink in it, so I'm going to take a little bit of magenta. These colours are quite subtle and they're quite important because you want nice vibrant colour, don't you?
Yeah.
Oops. There we go. Put that on the side, and the roller doesn't tend to, because we've used most of the paint up off the roller, it picks up the new colour quite well, look. And we're going to go in, now that's a little bit too dark. In fact, now we look with that colour as if it's not quite right. Say, well, is that colour anywhere else? Yes, it's down here. So I'm going to use that colour. I want to make a lighter colour yet, but wherever I see it, I'm going to use that colour then. Rather than mix it all up again, we'll use it somewhere else. That's coming down here as well.
Mine is actually a bit lighter.
That's all right.
Because I've got less paint on it, I think.
Well, you've got to put more paint on your paint a little bit thin, so you've got to really press hard and work it on into several coats, so you don't have the canvas showing through too much.
Yeah.
Here you've got the canvas showing a bit much, so we'll be doing second layers and that later anyway, but you'll get the idea. See how thick I'm painting mine?
Yeah.
You've got a lot of canvas showing through.
Yes.
We really do need to get thicker coats.
Right. Yes. More paint.
Mix up some more. Across there, different directions. Now I'm going to use I'm using the roller in different directions here now as well. You see how I'm getting the effect now of the stonework by just dragging across and
yeah, it's good.
It's coming. Get some more up. That's better. Now you're getting a much thicker layer on, which is far better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. It just takes a bit of getting used to, like any new technique or medium. It's quite fun to paint together like this, I think.
Yeah, it's great.
Something different. This is nice about having a private lesson because you can do this. You couldn't do this with a group very easily, you know. Well, you do, and you can say, right, all follow me, and we'll, but it's not quite as easy. Right. So again, this chair is the lighter grey here. Now this is, see, I'm using the edge of the roller now.
Yeah.
To get down this chair drawing.
The leg.
Yeah, the leg. So rather than using the whole roller, it's a bit crude, but we'll tart it up later. But we just want to get the basics in at the minute. I need loads of that colour, so I'm going to mix some more up. So plenty of water. And more white. And a touch of the yellow into it. Cerulean blue. And a bit of magenta. And you get that lovely colour again. A little bit of yellow in it this time. Slightly greener. So we're going into the walls more now. Still using this bluer tint. A little more magenta. Touch of the purple. There we go. Plenty there. That's it. Back into here and start these chairs down here now. Just little lines of it.
Oh, it's easier when you have more colour on it, isn't it?
Oh yes, yes, you've got plenty of colour on your. His leg now, just start to form that bit of the leg coming down there. Just one stroke, you see, just keep it simple. But do cover. So you haven't really covered that figure with a deeper colour yet, so you may need to go back on that a bit later. I'm just going to put a small coating of the light just there. one leg going behind the other, but you don't want any white canvas left at all when we're done. So rapid it is. I mean, we're covering canvas it's a very rapid way of working, lovely way to work.
Thanks.
Lovely rapid way to work. Now if I use the edge of the roller, just watch this a minute, if I use, you see these stone effects here for the pavement, if I use the edge of the roller, look, to start doing some lines, you start to get the effect of those, just the very edge of the roller like that. But use the accident, so I've just got a bit of white in there, I'm going to use that accidental effect now deliberately to build this up. Right, so I want to go to the sky, and the sky on the photograph, as they often do, bleaches out. So we have to say, what colour sky would we like? Well, this is cool and warm yellows.
Yeah.
So if we do a colour there, I think a very light green might be nice, which would, the walls would come forward of the light green, because it's opposite in the colour circle. So green, red, opposite, bring the reds forward, a very light green, there we can also put a bit of broken colour, a bit of other colour in yellow in later. That will mean that these will shine out, won't it?
Yes.
So at this stage we need to wash the roller and everything because we're going to have clean colour. So use up the rest of that paint. Right, we're now going to mix up this light green. So I'll take some white, as last time. And I want a fairly cool green, so we'll use a little touch of emerald and a little bit of viridian, and we'll get this very, and I want plenty of white in this. I want it very, very light, so lots and lots of white. Then we'll see if it comes anywhere else, because there's a little bit of green coming down here, but we'll make it a bit stronger later, but this is just to get the sky effects. We'll see if this works. So a little touch of yellow into that, just to make it a little bit lighter. That's my excuse for putting my brush in the wrong colour. Right. There we go. Now we'll try that. Should be alright. It's only just light enough, but let's see what we can get on the roller. Again, you see how even though we've done the rollers, they're still very wet. Yeah, that should be about right, look. So it looks blue in fact, but it isn't. We know it's a green colour, but it will work against these warm colours. Now, what I'm going to do here is use all the paint up so you can't read it first. Is I'm going to come across this. So we've got this bit of sky coming down here. But I want to get the effect of this light coming across the building. So I'm going to actually now start to come across bits of the building lightly and just let the building show through as if it's reflecting on. Look at that lovely effect we get. So down here again for the windows, not all the way down, but you can just let the windows show through. It's lighter down there. I'm going to put some pink in that one. I'll overpaint with the pink. Well, now wherever there's some of this kind of green colour shining, we just go lightly across the buildings to start to give the effect of the stonework and the texturing. So we've got the heavier paint. Now we're putting this lighter tones on in different directions, just to give an impression of the stonework. And you see how that works. It's quite fun, isn't it? And again, coming down here, again that chair. You've got to watch your drawing now, because you get a bit lost if you're not careful here. The chair comes down about here, and I want to just indicate that chair in. So I'm going to start just to get the back of that with the edge of my. You see how you can do it with the edge, look? Just feel your way down the edge like that, and anywhere else it's behind. Here a bit too. Up here. That's a light blue. The whole. I'm going to make the whole of that light blue, because I'm going to go to the dark bits again afterwards. This one here, there's a figure there. And there's a light chair. Let's see, where are we? That figure. It should be one here. Then it's just a light bit there. You've got to just work out putting. What I said about my jigsaw painting method of painting, where you put the right colours in the right shapes in the right places, relevant one to another. Small little details we can put in with the brushes later, but just these more major ones at the moment. Just find that lamp that's there a little bit, that's coming in there. It's a basic shape, but it's coming. So you do that next, so I'll just mix you a bit more colour. So it was a little touch of the emerald, a little touch of the viridian, much. Make it a little more viridian. There we go. very, very light, and it looks like a blue, but we know it isn't. It's only because it's showing against the red. So there we go.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
It's a lovely colour.
It's quite fun, isn't it? But it's not colours that people would use. They've all got to have blue sky. Got to have you don't. You can actually really play with more colour. You've got to use your colour chemistry a bit, your knowledge of colour. Just across the top of that towel there, back of shoulders here. Any little bits that we see in that colour that we put in with this. Right, we're going on now to the more warmer colours, the slightly pinker ones. So the same colour in here. I'll just take some magenta, and I'm going to take a little bit of cadmium yellow this time and make a much warmer grey. So all of these are greys basically, but they're just different tints of greys, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we've got a lovely warm grey now. Perhaps a little bit of blue into that, just to take it back a bit. Not it too warm. There we go. We'll use that up next. It'll give us a sort of a little more magenta on that.
Are these?
That's that. That's what we're looking at now. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll try that out and just try it first. I don't need to clean my roller. Right. So we've got this slightly warmer grey, and let's see how that goes. Now that's coming over this. So we've got. But this is what I was saying about the underpainting. This warm. There we go. Just letting the colour glow through here. We're just treating it very abstractly. Don't try and copy the photograph. We're just doing an impression. We're just making an impression of the shapes and
copy
colours.
the photograph, as you know.
I was being kind. I was just telling our audience really that can do it, you know.
Okay.
So through here. Down, a bit warmer just there. These lines that we're getting behind here. We're trying to lose this. So I'm going that chair leg now with that. This one a little bit lighter again. I'm going to start mixing up more of these blue greys now. So we'll just quite simply take some of this blue into this colour. A little bit more. Keep the white going. We're still using white as a body colour quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's not completely blue. We've still got a little bit of warmth in it, but it is bluer. So now we're looking at these sorts of blues around. That's fairly dark at the moment. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, but we can bring those lights in later again with a brush. Not too worried. Let's just try that first. And if it's not right, we'll put a bit more white in. Got to test a bit. So yes, there we are. This is this sort of blue colour. So we've got to see what's light and what's dark. So that should be. So we're playing one colour against another. We're always playing light against dark, rough against smooth, cool against warm. And a little. Don't want to make it too blue though. That's better. That's a nice colour. Look at that colour.
Yes.
It's a lovely. It's magenta and cerulean blue and white, and I've got it all on my roller. And you can have what's left.
Yes, not here. I mean, I have to scrape here. What's left on here?
Painting in little lines and strokes, gradually making these shapes that give the impression of the walls in the background. Mix some more. I might have to mix some more in a minute. We'll just see how we go. That figure at his back has the top of his head. Now look, this is why I drag the sponge. The top of this guy's head here. If I just drag the edge of that sponge down there, just push it in there, I should be able to get that top of the round of his head, and then his back here, and going across. So that's all we're going to do. Yeah, we've really got to look for these colours. That's right. And on that bit of
more paint.
You're not allowed. Blue coming through. And we've filled up quite a lot of the white already, well at least I have, anyway. So we're going to make now the darker, start with these slightly darker greys, so I'm going to add some yellow ochre and a wee touch of the purple again, just to bring it back to link it, and this time a little bit of burnt umber to go that wee bit warmer. we're starting to get into these sort of warmer colours here, a bit darker still. But surprising how dark you've got to go. But that's, we haven't got this, so we're going down quite a tone now. Look, I'm going to deliberately go a bit darker because if we're going to use plenty of this paint, a little touch of Prussian blue. That's right, a little bit more warmth. There we go. Now that's a nice colour. That's a nice sort of mid-grey. We'll try that one. Now I think around this archway here. Yeah, that's quite nice. Again, it's darker than I expected, so I'm going to go and use the edge and start to paint in some of my lines of dark.
Before you use it up.
Mix more anyway. Quite a bit of this.
Oh, it's going to be raining all day today.
Yeah, it says it right through about 3 o'clock in fact, yeah. So this is our mid greys, dark greys. And I think we're starting to put it into the windows as well, so I've got to try and have a little bit more water in that one. Just a little bit more just to get the edges. Find the windows. Let's look how roughly I'm using. They say do keep the perspective. That is important here. So I've got to bring that line through. Just see the underpainting going on. And then these darks start to make sense in the background. So little touches, for instance, on the roof here. It wants a little touch just along the roof, carefully there, quite light, at the right angles. Windows. Edges. So this is where we start to just hint at, just to give an impression of other things happening. Just little lines and dots and dashes at the salient points, the most important parts. So here, for instance, I need a couple of marks there, I need a couple of marks here. Just the most important bits, just to make it look as if it is what it is. Get some more of that deep colour. I need more darks yet. Not too dark yet, just a mid-greys. And a bit more blue this time. A bit more of the stronger bit. Some ultramarine blue with the brown this time. There we go. So this is the slightly darker, bluer greys. It's coming though, it's doing alright. It's doing fine. Now so it's slightly more blue in the grey now. Put in these darks here. Now that chap's leg there, look, see that wants to be a bit darker down on that side. So we're getting the feeling, we've always got the feeling of his movement there now. The guy's almost there, you know, without, just by indicating these shapes. Some of us haven't got time to drink tea because some of us are really busy painting, you know.
You didn't want one. You were asked.
I wasn't asked, but you know I don't.
All right. So they're really small details, like the heads and things. So
we're just indicating. Yeah, we can. I just put his head in there, but you know, I've got to just work around it. And we're cutting into a lot of the shapes. You know, a lot of these shapes that I'm doing are going to be like the chair leg I've left behind. I'm cutting into that. I'll come back across with lighter colours later. Right, now I'm going to make a more golden colour, slightly lighter, a little bit of white, some of the magenta. I don't want it too light, but just a little bit of blue just to take it down a fraction. And now the warmer, slightly warmer, but still fairly dull, quite a thin layer.
Is that for the golden areas?
Yeah, I want to start building up these warmer, just the sort of, see I'm doing it very thinly over the top, just to build up these warmer tints over the surface, right down through here. Again, especially through this area here where I've just been quite strongly there, and down through there. all of this area. Now I can get rid of all of this white by putting on this warm through this area here. So we're going to really, now we're losing all of the white at last.
What's the colour? The colours you used here again?
This was chrome yellow, white, a little touch of cerulean just to bring it down a bit, and magenta. We're going to go a little bit more pink in a minute still, so I'm trying to lose all of my whites quite quickly now. And there we go. I want to lighten it up even more in a moment. You need to get rid of that white, so really do get some paint on your roller now and lose all that. There shouldn't be, there's virtually no white now after this. Use your finger if you need. Don't be stuck by rules, you know. Don't get stuck entrenched in ways that you've got to be done this way, it's got to be done. You change it as you need. And now you see the problem with the white showing. You know, we might need to go back in with the brush even. You need to lose that white. It's not giving you a whole light, it's right. Getting in between.
Yeah, yeah.
So you may have to give a wash with the brush here and there just to tidy up, or mix up some more paint. But that's the effect we need to bring the lights on top.
Yeah.
If you've got this white showing everywhere, it's destroying it. You can see how I'm bringing out one shape to another.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you finished with the pink just about? Or?
Yes.
You made a bit more pink around. Watch these lights here. Pinks you know, all the way down around, even into his body, round here, look. There's a lot more pink in there than you think, yeah. And go across as well, that's right. Even these bits look on the stone. You see, I'm just using the edge of the roller here to get the bits of light.
Oh yeah.
So texture, this is what we're now picking out as just indicating these bits of light. And before we go a bit lighter still, right, I'll wash that palette and roller again. Now we're going to start on our lighter highlights, which we're going to do mainly with the brush later, but if we can just hint at some of these things now, it'll help.
Okay.
Just gently getting these bits of light reflecting. Even the little lines on things like that look quite important.
Yep.
At the edge of your roller, just hinting at.
Okay.
You see the difference even that makes? It suddenly gives it luminosity.
Yeah.
So we're now working up to our final. That's why I say it's going to, when it does happen now, it's going to happen quite quickly. Just drawing little shapes of colour where things, you know, into the table there, for instance. I've got to start really drawing into things, feeling these little marks has a meaning now. Even on the edges of her arm, for instance, there, or inside his face here, each of these little bits is important. Right, and then most of the rest of the lights I'm going to put in with a brush. What I want to do now is just a little bit more white and then make some much lighter colour up here. That brush needs to be washed now. I'm just going to take some lemon yellow and white, which is much, much brighter, much cooler. Before I use the rest of my brush later. And just put in some of these really light bits of reflection on the, you see the difference, huge difference. Like as soon as we start flicking in these bits of light,
Yeah.
it makes a massive difference. Just put them in where they are. Even if it just gives you can carry on with this at home later. The point is just to get as far as you can today, get the idea of the technique, and then like you're doing with the other painting, you know that you can play with it. You can even indicate words, letters, just by blobbing along. Just indications of something there. Look.
Yeah. This is going on.
You're getting there, but you say it's the white that's the problem. No, this is lovely, it's all really happening. When we get back from this, you've got to get these highlights right. So we're building up now to, we must get these, the drawing must be really right. So that's why we're going to move to a brush in a minute, because it'll be easier for you. But the drawing's got to be really good now.
So I lost this figure already.
And I mean, some people would call that done. You know, some people say, well, you know, there's the impression, do I need to do more? And do you?
Yeah.
But we'll do a bit more yet. I mean, we can, that's the beauty of acrylics, we can go back in, but now we want to start getting these final darks, which really will make a hell of a difference in the shapes and the drawing. Just drawing the darks in like a watercolour, leaving the lights staying behind.
Right, okay.
So the drawing is important now. We're drawing in what we call negative shapes. And then we're going to come back, a few more highlights on with the rollers, and then we're into brushwork. What I'm doing now is just putting back across some of these mid-tones that I lost earlier. When I'm trying to have the details of the chair. It's almost looking like a painting knife, isn't it? I mean, it's got that sort of texturing now that could have been slabbed on.
Yeah.
It's coming, got a lovely fit feel of light. It is just these, you know, the white is a bit of a pain, but otherwise it's coming on. You've got the basic dark. This is lovely. Look at that bit. Beautiful for you, that.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to the brush marks now, I think they'll be all right. I'm just going to mix a bit more purple up. So if you want any more of this is a lovely colour, this purple, if you want to fill in anywhere with the, that's what we need, just to fill in some of the shadows now, like these areas here, where they've been a bit lost. We've got to come back and put the lights in, got to redraw in places, in other words.
Really. I think I've contaminated your purple.
You should have, you can't go from black to that.
No.
Anyway.
Oh well, still a purple.
I'll use it a little bit darker there, not to worry. Right, now what I'm going to do now is start to show you how we can work up these with a brush. So we'll wash everything up now. Right, so now we've got to go to brushes. We're going to want some smaller filberts and rounds to start to get more detail done. And literally we're going to be painting back in the shapes and going into more detail. So where there are darks that we haven't got correct, now's the time to start bringing them out. So we start to, quite loosely, use the brush a bit like the roller, don't suddenly behave differently. Just start painting in these shapes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
The darks, the lights, whatever you think, we're going to start painting in these details now as shapes. Just in between and around. So a smaller one for his head there, and a bit more purple, and comes in here. Just indicating like that, yeah?
Yeah.
But just get them in the right places now. So drawing is important now. You are using a bit of line, but you're putting the right colours in the right places. So something like this head, I mean, if I take a little bit of that pink and just soften that down a bit, but I've got that head there, but I want a little bit of reflection on the top on his forehead. So I'll just drop that in, just indicate. And that's all it really, the top of this guy's head here. A little bit more yellow in that, a little bit of white. And we can just capture a bit more white still. We can just try and capture the highlight of it, so it comes around there. Then we've got his arm here. His arm comes down just onto the table there. This guy's got a little bit more light on the forehead there. You see, our chair can just be formed by just a few strokes. We tend to keep it simple, as we were with the rollers, really.
Yeah.
It's a bit technique and a bit slick, but it's also rather fun.
No, it's nice. It's a lovely technique. This is where my figure drawing is letting me draw again.
Well, it is drawing skills now with shape.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Bulbs from that earlier. So if I look at this now, look, just very quickly, we start to paint in almost into pure white, but just flicking in these lovely colours. Now we've got the underpainting.
Yeah.
Really start to, and you see the difference that it starts to pull together.
Yeah, I mean the highlights are incredible, isn't it? What difference in.
Yeah. Just drawing into our objects, so that really, it's not the end of the lesson, but it gives you enough to know how to carry on, so that we've got the warms against the cools, even in the highlights. Around the back of his head here, light. And now this warmer light will make the cool background seem bluer. So that makes a difference too.
Right.
See? You can come back with these colours any time, you see, and say, right, we need to come back behind this head, make it a lot smaller.
Yeah.
It needs to be taken right down to, and they're almost there straight away.
Yeah.
Just get the shape so that now that shape needs to be taken up behind.
Yeah.
And these pinks. So it's one block of colour again. Now look how that works, straight away. Yeah. And then what's this arm? It's that length that comes down to there, just keep it simple, keep very simple shapes. That one here, but too low, there, straight down. Look, it's there.
Yeah.
Simple shapes, okay?
Yeah.
Well done. Been a hell of a day, but you
That was good.
really,
I like it. I
really
really
achieved
like
today,
it.
haven't we? Yeah.
I really like it.
Good. And which brush to use is important as well. I mean, for instance, I'm going to go to a fill, but this leg here wants to be fairly chunky. So I'm going to take a bigger brush and the blue, and just in a couple of strokes, hopefully, there we are. You know, bigger brush, one or two strokes, don't overdo.
Yeah.
Just down, find the bit behind. And that's just an indication of something. We don't want to be overdoing it.
No.
Same here. It's an indication of the blue. There's a bit more blue going on back with the figure behind here. And you know, these little shapes of colours are so important. A little bit more blue. This figure here, look, this little blue one behind. See the red there. Then we've got this figures here.
Yeah.
And that cool is quite important because it plays against these colours. Again, a little bit bluer still. So we've got a warmer blue against that. So take a little bit warmer blue, just a wee touch of it.
Yeah.
And the difference that can make.
Yeah, it does.
Same here now. Take that same blue and add a bit more of that warmer blue. Deliberately down here, just to bring that jeans. Now we've got the feeling of jeans.
Yeah.
But it's only a hint.
I won't finish it. I take it home because sometimes I need to rest.
Well, yes. I mean, now you're on brushwork. You've got your own brushes. You can't you?
Yeah.
So it's not such a.
Would you put oil on top of it, or just
try with acrylics? Unless you feel. I mean, you won't need the strength of the oil. These acrylics are quite strong enough, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yes, nice. I like it. It's good. I have to go to the vet.
What's wrong with you?
Yes, exactly. The dying cat.
After my lesson, you mean?
Yes. Great, Peter. That was really helpful.
Good.
That was a good lesson.
Right, my student's now disappeared. She can carry on with the work at home. She's got all the basics, 2-hour lesson, and I've shown her really all the basics of what she needs to know to get a painting like this done. Now we'll carry on ourselves, working up these shapes and colours. Keep the paint marks simple, straightforward, clear, bold. So things can be adjusted with acrylics at any time we like. And we stay as loose as we want. Like I was saying earlier, we're the ones in control, so we can say it's finished whenever we like. It's not in control of us. If we start loose, we can finish tight. And it's hard to know how much further to go with this one because I feel actually I'm almost there. I really don't want to do too much more because I like it nice and loose like this. And I think I actually might call it finished at that. Didn't need to do much more, just wanted to get the feel of it, the atmosphere of it.